Welcome, dear listener. You've arrived at the Sleepy Tales, a quiet place where stories are told slowly, gently, and with care. Tonight, we will wander together toward a hidden place, a still pond that rests at the very edge of the world. They call it the Mirror Pond. Before we begin, feel free to comment from what country you are listening from and what time it currently is. This is a story to accompany you into rest, a tale to carry you into the quiet hours of night. Here, there are no tasks to complete, no decisions to make, and no rush to move quickly. Only a calm journey, meandering gently through a place that belongs to memory, imagination, and dream. Tonight, we will wander together toward a hidden place, a still pond that rests at the very edge of the world. They call it the Mirror Pond. It is said not to reflect the face of the one who looks into it, but instead, it reveals moments from forgotten places, the glow of an orchard at dawn, the drift of lanterns across a quiet river, the hush of a village that no longer stands. As you settle yourself comfortably, imagine this gentle wandering. The world grows softer as you travel. You are not alone, for the quiet night keeps company. The landscape opens slowly before you, and each step brings you closer to the calm embrace of the pond. Let us begin with the first part of this journey, with the vanished realm that cradles the pond in silence. Imagine yourself walking along a path that seems to appear only when you notice it. It is narrow, lined with grass that bends softly as you pass. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of pine and distant rain. Your steps are unhurried, the ground beneath you firm and familiar, as though countless others have walked here before. Ahead, the trees part to reveal a clearing. At its center lies the pond, round and still, as if the earth itself created a perfect mirror for the sky. A circle of smooth stones surrounds the water. They are covered in moss, thick and deep green, softening the edges of the stone. Some of the stones tilt slightly inward, leaning toward the pond as though bowing. Others rest flat, wide enough to sit upon, cool and damp to the touch. You step closer. The air is different here, quieter, as though sound itself hesitates at the water's edge. The surface of the pond reflects the faintest traces of clouds drifting above. Yet it is not your face that greets you. Instead, the reflection shimmers, as though uncertain. The pond seems to breathe, each ripple faint and measured, carrying whispers of memory. If you kneel beside the circle of stone, you may notice details you would otherwise miss. The moss holds tiny droplets of water from a passing mist. The stones themselves are smoothed by centuries, their surfaces faintly warm where the last of the daylight touches them. Small flowers grow in cracks between the stones, pale blossoms that close their petals as night deepens. There is a stillness here that is not empty. It is the kind of quiet that suggests something is waiting, something gentle and patient, the kind of silence that feels like being welcomed into a story already in progress. You lean a little closer. The water is so clear it almost ceases to exist, as if you could reach through and touch not liquid, but another sky. Every so often, a faint ripple glides across the surface. Perhaps it comes from a leaf falling gently from a nearby tree, or from a breeze that stirs the air and is gone again. The circle of stone feels ancient. It seems as though it was placed with care by hands that knew this pond was more than water. Each stone is a marker, a quiet guardian. Together, they hold the memory of the place. Encircling the pond, like a crown of moss and patience. Here, at the vanished realm, you rest for a while. The pond is calm, the stones steady, the night stretches wide around you, and though no words are spoken, the scene seems to say, you are safe here, and you may linger as long as you wish. There are stories, softly told, of those who found this pond before you, travelers, pilgrims, and wanderers whose paths led them by chance to this circle of stone. Among them, there is one figure often mentioned in hushed tones, a wanderer who gazed into the pond for longer than most. Imagine this traveler stepping into the clearing long ago. They carried little with them, perhaps only a leather satchel worn smooth by years of use. The satchel's flap was patched in places, its stitching uneven but strong, a mark of care and resourcefulness. The traveler's boots, too, showed the miles they had walked, soles softened by earth and gravel, laces frayed, but tied with patient hands. Like you, they paused at the edge of the circle. The stones were just as mossy then, just as cool beneath the touch of a palm. The water was the same, still and waiting, its surface calm, yet alive with memory. The wanderer leaned forward, expecting to see their own reflection. But the pond had other intentions. Instead of the face of a lone traveler, the water offered something entirely different. At first, it showed a meadow, wide and golden under a late summer sun, a place that did not belong to the wanderer's past, yet was rendered with such detail that it could not have been imagined. Tall grasses swayed gently in a breeze that bent them in unison. A wooden cart rested nearby, its wheels worn smooth, its surface darkened by years of use. In the distance, smoke curled lazily from a cottage chimney, carrying the faintest suggestion of warm bread. The wanderer blinked, yet the vision did not fade. Instead, the pond shifted once more, rippling into another scene. This time, a village square appeared. Cobblestones glistened with the dampness of recent rain. A row of lanterns flickered in their iron holders, each one glowing with soft, steady light. Children chased each other around a fountain at the center, their laughter soundless but vivid in its joy. Though the wanderer had never stood in that square, they felt a strange recognition, as if the place had been waiting for them all along. The longer they gazed, the more scenes appeared. An orchard blooming at the edge of dawn, a bridge of pale stone arching across a river without end, a library beneath the roots of an ancient tree where scrolls lay untouched and lanterns glowed with quiet steadiness, each image as complete and tangible as the last. The wanderer's heart slowed, their breath quieted, time seemed to soften, stretching thin like golden thread. It was as though the pond was showing them not the past, nor the future, but fragments of worlds that had slipped gently from memory into myth. No one knows how long the wanderer remained at the pond. Some say it was a night, others a season, and a few claim it may have been years, though the moss did not grow thicker and the stones did not shift. When the traveler finally rose, they left the circle with steady steps, carrying nothing more than when they arrived. Yet their eyes held a softness, as though they had seen more than one world could contain. The chronicles of this wanderer end there. No further record tells of where they walked or where they finally rested, but the pond remembers. Each ripple across its surface recalls the gaze of the one who lingered too long, and through those ripples, you too may glimpse the visions they once saw. And as you listen, perhaps you feel yourself leaning gently into those reflections, drifting toward the mystery of what lies within them. The mirror pond is quiet. It has no voice, and yet, in its silence, it speaks. For those who linger here long enough, the water does not merely reflect what is present, but what is absent. It shows glimpses of lives that do not belong to you, reflections that seem to arrive from somewhere else, like stray memories carried on a soft breeze. Imagine leaning closer to the surface of the pond. At first, the water shows the curve of the sky above, its stars set in patterns familiar and steady. But then, without warning, the reflection changes, not abruptly, but gradually, as though the pond itself is drawing breath. Shapes gather in its depths, blurring, and then resolving with slow patience. Perhaps you see a cobbled lane in a town you do not know. The stones are uneven, polished smooth by centuries of footsteps. A row of gnome-crafted lanterns lines the way, each glowing with a warm, honey-colored light. The scent of baked bread seems to drift from an unseen bakery. You have never walked here before, and yet the details are so complete, so intricate, that the place feels lived in, real, and quietly welcoming. The water shifts again. This time, it shows the inside of a workshop. A wooden table stands at its center, its surface covered with tools of brass and polished steel. A clock rests there, its gears turning with soft precision, though no one is present to wind it. You notice the faint grain of the wood, darkened by oil, and the steady touch of careful hands. It is not your memory, nor your making, yet it drifts before you as if offered patiently, without demand. The pond has always been this way, according to the few who speak of it. It gathers fragments, moments, and echoes of worlds beyond reach. Some say it reflects dreams left behind by travelers who once passed here. Others whisper that it mirrors places that still exist, though far away, beyond borders of land or time. Occasionally, the reflections hold faces. A woman bent gently over a loom, her hands guiding threads of silver across the frame. A child playing with carved wooden animals in a courtyard filled with ivy. A fisherman mending his net while his boat drifts lazily against a pier. They never look back toward you, never notice your presence. You are only the observer, watching their moments drift across the surface like a soft, wordless story. There is no sense of intrusion. Instead, there is comfort in these glimpses. They suggest that life is vast, wider than one's own steps, and that even forgotten places continue to exist in quiet ways. The pond does not ask you to solve its mystery. It only invites you to witness, for as long as you wish, before letting the images fade like morning mist. Some claim that if you remain long enough, the pond will begin to show you lives yet to be lived, a town you have not visited, but may one day walk, a friend you have not yet met, waiting in the corner of a lamplit inn, or a journey yet to come, hinted at only through the glow of lanterns strung across an unknown road. Whether true or not, the pond keeps its secrets. It holds them gently, as a shell holds the sea's murmur, and in its reflections, you may sense something simple, yet profound, that every life, every place, leaves behind a trace, and those traces remain, quietly shimmering, waiting to be seen. The surface grows still again. The visions recede. Only the pond remains, calm, dark, and endlessly patient. You lean back, breathing with the rhythm of the night, feeling that something has passed through you, not urgent, not demanding, but quietly enriching. And as you rest there by the stones, the thought arises, if these are not your reflections, perhaps they are gifts offered to you for safekeeping, just as the pond itself keeps the memory of countless forgotten worlds. Not every traveler could reach the mirror pond. Many only heard of it through soft retellings from an innkeeper's quiet story, a scribe's scattered notes, or the gentle exaggerations of a wandering minstrel. Those who never set eyes upon its waters imagined it in their own ways, and over time, their dreams grew into visions more vivid than the truth could ever be. In the illuminated manuscripts of monks who lived by candlelight, the pond was painted not as a simple circle of water, but as a vast lake with silver ripples that stretched into the horizon. Tiny figures stood at its edge, their faces bowed in reverence, gazing into depths painted with flecks of gold. To these artists, the pond was less a place and more a doorway, a gateway where reflections might lead one gently into the eternal. Poets wrote of it too. They described its surface as a page of glass upon which the sky itself chose to write. Some verses spoke of clouds becoming letters, drifting across the pond in long, slow phrases that no scholar could fully translate. Others spoke of constellations arranging themselves differently in its reflection, not to mirror the heavens above, but to suggest constellations of other worlds entirely. Dreamers created bestiaries of creatures said to live within or beside the pond, gentle beings that never startled or disturbed, but waited patiently among the moss and reeds. There were sketches of deer with soft silver antlers that glowed like lanterns in the dusk. Fairies, drawn with translucent wings, hovered just above the mirrored surface, their tiny hands brushing against the ripples. Some even imagined mermaids whose scales shimmered with the blue of deep twilight, leaning upon the stones and humming songs too quiet for waking ears. And so, though no two accounts agreed, each left behind a vision of the pond that was tender and compelling. The reality may have been simple, a circle of mossy stones, cool water, and soft night air. But in the minds of those who dreamed, the pond grew infinite. It became less a single place, and more a canvas upon which longing, memory, and imagination painted endless worlds. Perhaps that is its true gift. Not the accuracy of its reflections, nor the mystery of its origin, but the way it invites countless visions to bloom in those who hear of it. Whether you stand by its edge in person, or only imagine it now in the quiet of your rest, the pond serves its purpose. It cradles memory, it holds silence, and it gives space for your own reflections to take form. As you picture it once more, the smooth stones, the still water, the soft night breeze, you may notice that the image grows faint, as if dimming gently, like a lantern set down at the end of a long evening. It does not vanish completely, but waits quietly in the background of your mind, like a familiar place you can return to whenever you wish. And so, the mirror pond remains, at the world's edge, a resting place for reflections, for forgotten places, and for your own dreams, which may now rise softly, carrying you into sleep. And now, as our journey draws to its quiet close, the mirror pond remains behind you, its circle of mossy stones, its surface calm and steady, continue to wait in silence, as they have always done. The visions, the stories, the echoes of other lives, they linger softly, like the last notes of a distant song, fading into the stillness of night. You may carry fragments of them with you. The meadow under the late summer sun, the cobbled square lit with lanterns, the gnome-lit lane, the workshop filled with brass and wood, the imagined silver antlers glimmering in the dusk. Each detail drifts gently into memory, not demanding to be held, but offering comfort, like a blanket laid across the shoulders. It is in this way that the pond's gift continues, not through answers, but through presence, not through solutions, but through calm reflections that ease the mind into rest. As you breathe slowly now, you may feel the quiet rhythm of night surrounding you, the same quiet that rests over the pond, over the stones, over the forgotten paths that lead there. It is the same quiet that rests here with you, now, steady and kind. There is nothing more you need to do, no journey to finish, no story to follow to its end. The pond is patient, and so is the night. They will be here whenever you wish to return. For now, let the stillness guide you. Let the calm waters of your imagination carry you into dreams, dreams of gentle worlds, of cozy cottages, of lantern-lit paths, of silver reflections that shimmer softly but never disturb. And as sleep gathers around you, may you feel safe, may you feel calm, and may you drift slowly and peacefully into the quiet embrace of night. Imagine walking along a narrow path that winds between gentle hills. The earth is soft beneath your steps, the grass brushing lightly against your ankles. The air is cool and carries the faint scent of pine, though no trees are near, only their perfume carried on the wind from faraway woods. Ahead, tucked where the hill folds into itself, you notice a roof, low and sloping, nearly hidden beneath a blanket of moss. At first glance, it seems part of the land itself, as though the cottage were grown rather than built. Ivy curls up its stone walls, weaving in and out of cracks, clinging with quiet patience. The shutters are closed, wooden panels weathered to a silvery gray. They sag slightly, their hinges rusted but still holding, as if reluctant to let go of their duty. You step closer. The stones of the walls are cool to the touch, their edges rounded by centuries of rain. Here and there you see the faint shimmer of lichen, pale green against the darker stone. Above, the moss on the roof is soft and thick, like a quilt laid over the cottage to keep it sleeping. The door rests quietly, its planks of oak darkened with age. Your fingers trail along its surface, feeling grooves carved long ago, patterns from tools held by hands now forgotten. There is no lock, only a simple iron latch, cool beneath your touch. When you push gently, the door yields without sound. It swings open into stillness. The air inside is heavy with the scent of aged timber and dust. Not unpleasant, but old, settled, like books kept closed on a shelf for too many years. As you breathe it in, you sense that nothing within has stirred for a very long time. The floorboards creak softly beneath your steps, though not in protest, rather in acknowledgement, as though greeting the presence of a visitor after ages of silence. Your hand brushes against a table near the door. Its wood is smooth, polished by time more than by care, and covered by a thin layer of dust that shimmers faintly in the dim light. A chair rests nearby, pulled out slightly, as if someone once sat there, rose, and never returned. The windows are shuttered, but thin beams of light slip through narrow cracks, laying delicate patterns across the floor. Where they fall, they reveal small details: the handle of a kettle, hanging near the hearth, its surface dulled by disuse. The curve of a ceramic bowl on a shelf, faintly cracked yet whole, and on the mantel above the fireplace, a candle stub melted into a holder of wrought iron, its wax hardened long ago. Though the hearth is empty, there is an odd sensation here, as though the stones still hold the faint warmth of a fire that burned in another age. It is not heat you feel, but memory, a suggestion that flames once danced here, casting shadows across the walls, while voices rose and fell in gentle conversation. You step further in. The silence is not heavy, not oppressive. It is restful. The house is not abandoned, only asleep, waiting, its rooms filled with the hush of centuries. Even the dust feels deliberate, a soft covering, like a blanket drawn across a resting figure. And as you stand there, you sense that you're not intruding, but listening. The cottage does not resist your presence. It welcomes you in its way, inviting you to wander through its stillness, to notice the details it has kept safe, and to hear the story it has guarded in silence all these years. As you linger in the quiet of the cottage, you begin to sense the life it once held, not in sound, but in echoes. The air seems to hum softly with memory, carrying traces of laughter, of gentle conversation, of footsteps that once moved with purpose across the floorboards. Long ago, it is said, this house was home to a family of 3, a couple who loved the quiet rhythms of village life, and a child with curious eyes and a penchant for small adventures in the surrounding hills. They rose each morning with the soft golden light of dawn filtering through the shuttered windows, tending to the hearth, the garden, and the small arrangements of home that make life feel tender and complete. One evening, the story does not tell us why, they lay down to rest and did not rise again, not in fear, nor in pain, nor in anger, but as if the house itself had whispered them into an endless sleep. There was no storm, no illness, no strange event, only a quiet folding of the day into night, and a gentle, uninterrupted slumber that lasted across the years. You can almost see them if you let your mind wander softly, moving through these rooms. The table where they shared meals still bears the faint impressions of their elbows, the subtle curve of a bowl once held in small hands. The windowsills display tiny objects, a pressed flower, a polished stone, a carved wooden figure, tokens of lives that were simple and full, yet now only linger in memory. The fireplace, though cold to the touch, seems to whisper of dinners shared over the glow of flame, of quiet evenings where stories were read aloud by candlelight, and the rain tapped gently against the roof. It is easy to imagine the child, perhaps, peeking out the window to watch the moon rise, and hearing the faint, comforting voices of their parents murmuring just behind. Outside, the garden has grown wild, yet remains gentle. Vines creep along the stone walls, and soft grasses bend in the breeze. A few flowers persist, resilient, their petals catching the last light of day. Birds sometimes alight on the windowsill or the moss-covered roof, their song a tiny echo of the life that once was. Even they seem to know this is a house of rest, and their chirping is soft, careful, respectful of the peace within. Legends say that travelers passing near the cottage sometimes paused at the path's edge, noticing a faint glow from one shuttered window. When they approached, the house appeared empty, though somehow inviting. It was never cold, never threatening, only quiet full of the gentle weight of lives folded into the fabric of the walls. As you explore, moving from room to room, you notice small, enduring details. A well-worn rug, its threads faded but intact. A wooden cradle, empty yet shaped perfectly, as if awaiting a child. And the clock above the mantel, its hands frozen at a certain hour, yet somehow keeping a steady, invisible rhythm. Time, within these walls, seems to have a softness all its own. It does not rush, nor does it linger harshly. It simply exists, like the patient breath of the house itself. You might pause for a moment, noticing how even absence can feel comforting. There is a rhythm here, a pattern of peace, a kind of lullaby that requires no sound. The house remembers the family, yes, but not with sorrow. Rather, it preserves them gently, like pressed flowers between the pages of a beloved book, a memory alive in quiet form. Walking through the rooms, it is possible to feel the presence of the family, not as ghosts, but as warmth, as lingering care. The soft curl of a blanket, the faint indentation in a chair, the almost imperceptible scent of old wood and hearth. These are the threads of a life remembered tenderly, a story held close by the walls themselves. And as you stand there, in the soft hush of centuries, you realize that this is a chronicle, not of loss, but of rest, a tale that invites contemplation, quiet reflection, and an ease that spreads slowly across the body and mind. It is the comfort of knowing that life, in all its small, beautiful details, can endure in memory, even when the days themselves have gone. As you linger in the stillness of the house, your attention is drawn once more to the clock above the mantel. Its wooden frame is carved with delicate spirals and tiny, almost imperceptible floral patterns, softened by years of dust and gentle wear. The face is simple, the numbers etched with care, yet the hands move with a steady precision that seems almost impossible, given that no one has tended it for countless seasons. Legends whisper of the clock's quiet magic. Some say it is the heartbeat of the house itself, keeping time for the dwelling, even when the family no longer walks its halls. Others claim it is guided by unseen caretakers, small creatures perhaps, who prefer to remain hidden, tending the rhythm of this tranquil home with invisible hands. Imagine the pendulum swinging softly, almost hypnotically, its gentle tick-tock resonating in the quiet air. Each swing is a measure of time, passing calmly, without urgency, without expectation. Even the walls seem to breathe in sync with it, as if the house itself acknowledges the gentle flow of hours and minutes, marking them not with alarm or pressure, but with quiet constancy. Some say the clock has witnessed everything: the sun rising over the mossy roof, the seasons shifting gently in the garden outside, the leaves fluttering and falling in perfect rhythm. It has ticked through snowstorms that draped the roof in white, through summers when the ivy grew thick and lush, and through countless evenings when only the whisper of wind stirred the branches outside. Travelers who have paused at the door sometimes report an odd feeling when they notice the clock, a soft certainty, a strange calm that fills the chest. The ticking is not intrusive nor commanding. It is a quiet guide, a gentle marker of continuity in a world that might otherwise feel fleeting, even in the absence of its human keepers. The clock reminds you that time, in its own way, can be tender. There are stories of small, friendly creatures, gnomes or tanuki, some say, who visit the cottage at night, dusting the shelves, polishing the wooden beams and tending to the clock's delicate mechanics. They are shy and rarely seen, but their presence is felt in the subtle perfection of every swing, every chime that never startles, but always soothes. It is as if the cottage itself has become a sanctuary, not just of memory, but of caretaking, a place where the quiet persistence of life continues gently, hidden from the rush of the outside world. And so, you may wander from room to room once more, noticing how the clock's steady rhythm softens the edges of your thoughts, the empty chairs, the dusted tables, the faint sunlight glimmering on the walls. All of it is measured, not by urgency, but by calm time, marked with care. Even the shadows seem to move in time with the pendulum, drifting slowly, languidly, without hurry. Perhaps you pause to rest near the fireplace, letting the soft tick-tock mingle with your own breathing. You notice how the sound is not intrusive, but grounding, a subtle reminder that even in quiet absence, the world has patterns that bring comfort. The clock does not demand attention, nor does it insist on presence. It merely exists, faithfully, softly, like a friend waiting quietly in the shadows, ensuring that everything remains as it should, peaceful, measured, and steady. In the quiet of this house, the clock is not merely a timekeeper, it is a companion, a gentle witness to the enduring calm of the cottage. It reminds you that even when life is gone from a place, care, rhythm, and tenderness can remain. And as you listen to its measured tick-tock, you may feel your thoughts begin to slow, your body soften, and your mind drift into a quiet, restful reverie. As your mind lingers in the quiet of the ivy-covered cottage, imagine now how artists and dreamers have envisioned such homes across centuries. Painters, poets, and storytellers have taken the warmth of the hearth, the soft moss of the roof, and the gentle swing of the clock, and translated it into visions that shimmer with imagination. Some imagine cottages with chimneys of silver smoke, curling endlessly into the pastel sky, rising like a quiet melody above fields of lavender and wildflowers. Windows gleam with golden light even when the sun has set, inviting wanderers to pause and rest without ever entering. Small lanterns sway gently along cobbled paths, casting soft, dancing shadows, and tiny, friendly creatures peek from behind flower pots or tucked beneath benches. In these painted cottages, the air is always calm, perfumed with the faint scent of baked bread and spring rain. Other dreamers have painted rooms where the furniture seems to hum with memory. A rocking chair moves with a breeze that does not disturb the stillness of the air. Bookshelves stretch high, filled with stories that whisper their tales only to those who listen closely. Even the clock, imagined in delicate gold or brushed silver, ticks with the same quiet rhythm, marking the passage of hours as a lullaby rather than a call to duty. You might picture the garden outside, tended by invisible hands, where every flower seems to bloom in gentle patterns. A pond reflects the soft colors of dusk, while a small fox with fur, like spun copper, curls at the edge of the path. Fairies flit lightly among the ivy and roses, their laughter soft as the rustle of leaves, never startling, only adding to the calm enchantment. And in these dreamt visions, the cottage is more than a building. It becomes a feeling, a place of comfort, of patience, of quiet observation. It is where you might sit on the mossy steps, listening to the wind through the branches, feeling time slow, and letting the world's worries slip away like leaves drifting on a gentle stream. Notice how the imagined cottages contrast with the quiet, real one you have wandered through. The real cottage is hushed and still, carrying the echoes of those who once lived there. The dreamt cottages are alive with possibility, shimmering with imagined light, yet still tender, still gentle, still inviting calm rather than excitement. Together, they form a spectrum of comfort, one grounded in presence, the other in the imagination, both weaving a quiet, enduring peace. As you let these visions fill your mind, notice the softness spreading through your thoughts, the warmth of the hearth, the gentle ticking of the clock, the moss underfoot, the swaying lanterns, and the painted cottages of dreamers long ago. All of it combines into a gentle, unhurried rhythm. Your mind can drift freely now, carrying the calm of these spaces into your own dreams, as the house sleeps peacefully through centuries, and you sleep peacefully with it. As you rise from your quiet, wander through the mossy rooms and sunlit gardens of the house that slept through centuries. Take a moment to breathe deeply and let the calm settle around you. Notice the lingering warmth of the hearth, the soft glow of imagined lanterns, and the gentle rhythm of the clock that has ticked faithfully through time. Each sound, each scent, each subtle movement has invited you to slow, to rest, and to let your thoughts drift like leaves upon a still pond. The cottage, whether real in your mind or dreamt in the visions of others, now rests in your memory as a place of serenity. Its shutters may be closed, its chairs empty, yet it continues to offer comfort, a reminder that peace can exist even in quiet absence, that warmth can remain even when the rooms are still. Imagine yourself stepping lightly onto the garden path one last time, feeling the soft moss beneath your feet, hearing the wind whisper through ivy-covered walls. The friendly creatures that dwell here, gnomes, foxes, and fairies, fade gently into the shadows, leaving only a sense of quiet companionship behind. And as you move away, the cottage does not vanish. Its presence lingers, subtle and reassuring, like a friend watching softly from a distance. Take another slow breath and let the calm of this place flow through you. Let the rhythm of the pendulum, the gentle sway of lanterns, and the imagined glow of the dreamt cottages carry your mind to a place of ease and rest. You may feel the tension of the day melt away, replaced by the comforting sense that the world can pause, that time can be tender, and that you too may rest. As your eyelids grow heavy and your thoughts soften, carry the house's peace with you, the mossy roof, the ticking clock, the imagined smoke curling endlessly into a pastel sky. All of it can accompany your dreams tonight, a gentle lullaby for your mind. And when you finally drift into sleep, know that this house, in its quiet, enduring way, will continue to sleep through centuries, keeping its calm and warmth as you rest peacefully in its shadow. Sleep now, gently, calmly, and let the magic of this quiet cottage carry you through the night. You arrive at the tower at twilight, its stones, cool and smooth beneath your fingertips, rise in quiet dignity, though many have crumbled with age. Ivy creeps along the walls, curling into cracks, embracing the structure as though it were an old friend. Imagine the faint touch of moss under your palm, the delicate roughness of lichen decorating the stones, each layer carrying the weight of centuries. The window itself is simple, yet striking, an arched opening that frames the sky, as if the heavens were contained in stone. Through it, the evening light filters softly, bathing the room in muted silver, the faint amber glow of distant lanterns in the village below. You brush your hand along the stone frame, noticing the way the surface cools your fingertips, the subtle vibrations of history lingering beneath your touch. The tower is silent, yet it hums with memory. Perhaps a bird lands briefly on the windowsill, ruffling its feathers, or a gentle breeze stirs the air, carrying the faint scent of distant flowers. The floorboards are worn smooth where generations once walked, and though no one remains, the tower feels watched, loved, and remembered. As you explore, your eyes linger on the horizon, where hills undulate in layers of blue and lavender, and the first stars of evening begin to wink shyly. The window seems to invite you to lean closer, to peer into a world that exists just beyond reach, a world of soft light and quiet sky, waiting for those who notice its subtle magic. Step slowly along the worn path within, noticing the arches of stone that have withstood time, the small niches where sunlight once played, the faint scratchings of hands long gone. In this space, the outside world fades. Only the hush of stone and the promise of the heavens remain. Imagine the calm settling into your chest, your mind tracing the curve of the window, imagining each star waiting patiently for your gaze. The vanished realm is not empty. It is full of echoes, of gentle histories, and of quiet beauty. Here, you can wander slowly, breathe deeply, and allow the simple presence of stone, sky, and ivy to remind you of the soft rhythm of time. Let your eyes drift upward through the arched frame, noticing the first constellation sketching itself across the twilight. The world beyond the window is vast, yet welcoming, and you are free to rest within its quiet embrace. As twilight deepens, imagine yourself settling closer to the arched window, the cool stone beneath your hands, and the soft whisper of ivy brushing against the wall. Tonight, the tower is not empty. It remembers someone who once sat here, night after night, gazing upward at the stars. Long ago, a hermit, quiet, thoughtful, and devoted to the sky, made this tower their home. Their days were slow and deliberate, each moment a gentle unfolding, each night a patient study of the heavens. You can almost hear the soft scratch of quill on vellum as they trace the constellations, mapping patterns that danced above the hills and rivers of the land below. Imagine yourself leaning alongside them, noticing the delicate folds of parchment, the ink that gleams faintly in the lamplight, and the careful, rhythmic strokes of a hand moving steadily across the page. Perhaps a small cat curls beside the hermit, its gentle purring blending with the whispering wind. The tower seems to breathe alongside its occupant, filled with the quiet cadence of evening work, of patient observation, and of deep contentment in stillness. Through the window, you watch the stars slowly awaken. The first are timid, shy points of silver on a deepening canvas. Then, one by one, others join, tracing gentle arcs and patterns. The hermit names each, quietly speaking the stories that have long since become myth. You hear, without urgency, of constellations shaped like foxes with tails that shimmer in the dark, of gentle sea serpents drifting lazily across the night, and of owls with eyes that glow softly beneath the moon. The hermit's presence feels steadying, a reminder that quiet observation itself can be a journey. Each evening is a ceremony of patience and presence. Perhaps they pause, brushing a stray lock of hair from their eyes, leaning forward to catch a comet that streaks silently through the sky. You too lean forward, imagining the shimmering light reflecting softly in your own eyes, and in your mind, the weight of the day begins to lift. You can almost sense the small sounds of the countryside below, the distant babble of a stream, the gentle sway of tree branches, the faint rustle of night creatures awakening in the meadows. Yet the hermit remains focused, serene, a quiet observer of both sky and self, a witness to patterns that have always been there and will remain long after the world changes around them. Time here flows differently. Minutes stretch into hours, yet there is no hurry, no pressure, only the soft unfolding of night, the slow drift of clouds across the moon, and the infinite patience of a single observer tracing the heavens from a quiet tower. And as you sit with them, perhaps you begin to notice a gentle rhythm in your own breath, soft alignment with the stillness and wonder of the scene. Each constellation becomes a gentle guide, each star a soft anchor, drawing your awareness outward and inward at the same time. The stories told in their quiet voice do not demand attention. They simply invite your mind to wander and rest. The hermit's sketches fill many volumes, yet the truest beauty is in the quiet act itself, in the soft hum of life observed and noted, in the serenity that flows from witnessing without needing to act. Here, beside the window, you feel that calm presence as your own, a gentle awareness that allows you to drift lightly in thought while the stars continue their endless dance, with the tower as your sanctuary and the sky as your companion. The story of the watcher of the stars lingers softly, and you feel the gentle pull of the night settling all around you. Now, imagine the window still open before you, framed by ivy curling softly along the cool stone, and the night sky stretching endlessly above. Among the countless stars, there was said to be one that seemed different, a single star that answered those who gazed at it with quiet devotion. Legends whisper that it shone with a gentle clarity, brighter than the others, almost as if it knew it was being watched. Some said it appeared only to those who approached the world with patience and kindness, who noticed the small and subtle beauty in every corner of life. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of the tower, feeling the slight chill of the evening air and seeing that soft gleam. The light is not harsh or blinding. It is warm, inviting, and steady, like a friend who waits quietly without expectation. Those who looked upon it spoke of peculiar sensations, a calm curiosity, a gentle clarity in thought, a sense that memories, long forgotten or half remembered, stirred softly within them. Perhaps you notice a feeling like that yourself now, a gentle tug of familiarity, as if the star knows a story you have yet to remember. It is said that one evening, the hermit reached out, sketching not only the constellations, but also the quiet brilliance of this one star, tracing its glow in silver ink across vellum that seemed to shimmer even in the lamplight. Imagine the hermit leaning close, whispering softly to the page, as if sharing secrets with the star itself. Every stroke of the quill becomes a soft melody, a meditation, a gentle conversation with the night. Outside the window, The wind stirs the ivy just slightly, and somewhere far below, the sound of a small stream trickles over smooth stones. The star's reflection shimmers faintly on the water and the tower's weathered roof, as if the heavens themselves have chosen to greet the world below. Some travelers claimed they saw this star in other skies, across distant lands, sometimes mirrored in pools, sometimes glimmering through thin clouds. Yet it was always the same quiet light, always the same patient presence, a subtle reminder that not all wonders are loud or immediate. Some require observation, some require stillness, and some reveal themselves only when we are ready to truly see. You may find your thoughts wandering gently with it, drifting across imagined landscapes bathed in silver moonlight. Perhaps a small fox, with soft, luminous first steps, lightly across a mossy hill, pausing to gaze at the star before continuing its quiet journey. A family of owls, perched in a nearby tree, watches over the clearing with serene wisdom, and in the far distance, a soft river reflects the celestial glow. Everything moves in its own time, with a calm, unhurried rhythm. The star that answered seems almost to understand the world below, a subtle witness to every quiet gesture of kindness, every soft sigh of wonder, every moment of patience and contemplation. And as you sit here, alongside the hermit, the star's gentle light drifts into your mind, inviting you to release tension, to feel the soft embrace of night, to let your thoughts become lighter, and to rest in the warmth of quiet reflection. It is here, in this interplay between watcher window and star, that the true enchantment lies. Not in spectacle, not in drama, but in gentle presence, in the soft awareness that even a single light in the vast sky can become a companion for the heart and mind. The night stretches on, steady and calm, and you feel its stillness settle more deeply with each passing moment. As the star lingers softly in your mind, let us now imagine how artists, dreamers, and storytellers envisioned windows like this one. In their paintings and sketches, the arched frame did not merely open to the familiar night sky. It opened to entire galaxies, swirling clouds of starlight, and softly glowing nebulae. Imagine yourself stepping into these visions, where the very heavens are painted with silver and lavender light, each star a delicate brush stroke upon velvet darkness. Some illustrations showed constellations dancing slowly, forming shapes of gentle creatures, unicorns leaping between clusters of stars, mermaids drifting along shimmering currents of cosmic light, or small, gnome-like figures exploring tiny, floating islands among the stars. The details were exquisite. The texture of distant planets, rendered in soft pastels, the glimmer of stardust, like fine, glowing powder drifting lazily on invisible winds, the subtle ripple of light, as if the universe itself were breathing. Painters imagined these windows in ways that went beyond what the human eye could see. One depicted a window framed in ivy that glowed faintly at night, each leaf reflecting a star's light, as if the tower itself had become part of the sky. Another showed celestial rivers flowing slowly through the void, carrying islands of moss, tiny forests, and cottages resting in quiet light. Through these visions, the act of looking through a window became a meditation, a gentle wander through wonder and tranquility. Even poets described the imagined windows in words that floated like whispers, a place where the night folds into itself, and the gentle curve of heaven cradles your thoughts. In their verses, you could almost feel the warmth of a soft breeze brushing across your face, the faint hum of distant stars vibrating quietly, a lullaby for anyone willing to watch, to rest, and to dream. In these dreamlike renderings, the window becomes more than a simple opening. It becomes a bridge between worlds. Some artists painted small, cozy rooms beside the window, lit by lanterns with honeyed glow, so that the observer might sit comfortably and gaze upon the infinite sky. Perhaps a cat curls on the windowsill, its fur catching the light of distant constellations. Perhaps a cup of tea or cocoa rests nearby, wisps of steam drifting lazily upward, mingling with the starlight. Everything is calm. Everything moves in a gentle, unhurried rhythm, inviting your mind to wander, to drift, and to rest. And so, as you linger here, in this imagined space, know that the window itself, whether real or dreamt, offers the same quiet comfort. It reminds you that wonder need not be overwhelming. It can be soft, intimate, and slow. The sky above is vast, yet approachable. The stars are distant, yet welcoming. And through the gentle lens of imagination, each moment spent here becomes a lullaby for the mind, a serene voyage toward quiet thought, deep reflection, and eventually, sleep. Notice how your body softens, your thoughts slow, and a gentle warmth spreads through you. The tower stands quietly, the window frames the heavens, and the star that answers rests softly in the distance. You are here, you are calm, and the universe seems to fold around you in a quiet embrace. The imagined worlds fade slowly into your mind, leaving a lingering sense of wonder and peace. Let your breath follow the rhythm of the night, slow and steady, and let the gentle stillness of this place carry you closer to rest. As we leave the quiet tower behind, the arched window and its softly glowing star resting gently in your mind, take a moment to notice the lingering sense of calm that surrounds you. The stone walls, the curling ivy, the imagined galaxies, they remain in your thoughts like a soft lullaby, each detail a gentle echo of the worlds we've wandered together. Imagine yourself walking slowly from the tower, stepping down the moss-covered path, feeling the texture of the stones beneath your feet. The night is serene, a soft breeze brushing across your skin, carrying the faint scent of distant flowers and the coolness of evening air. The stars above shimmer quietly, not demanding attention, but offering companionship in their steady, patient light. Perhaps, as you walk, you notice the small creatures we glimpsed in our stories. The fox with fur that seems to glow under moonlight, the gentle unicorn pausing beside a pond, or a tiny, luminous sprite fluttering just ahead. Each of them moves slowly, peacefully, as if the world itself has settled into a calm rhythm. You too can follow this rhythm, letting your mind soften, your body relax, and your thoughts drift freely. Remember the warmth of cozy cottages, the soft glow of lanterns swinging gently in the breeze, the quiet ripples of hidden ponds, and the gentle hum of enchanted forests. These images are yours to revisit whenever you need. A refuge, a gentle world of calm where your imagination wanders safely and where sleep arrives easily. As you settle into your resting place, notice how your breath flows smoothly, softly, in and out, like the gentle tides of a quiet, hidden sea. Each exhale releases tension. Each inhale brings a soothing sense of presence. The worlds we have visited are now quiet around you, like pages of a well-loved book closing slowly, leaving their warmth behind. And so, let yourself drift. Let the tower, the window, and all the gentle realms we've visited fade into a peaceful haze at the edges of your mind. The stars remain overhead, twinkling softly, as if to watch over you. The creatures rest, the cottages sleep, and the ponds reflect nothing but calm and quiet. Sleep now, with the comfort of these gentle stories carrying you. Allow your imagination to wander softly, drifting like lanterns floating across a serene night sky, until the quiet of dreams embraces you completely. Good night, and may your sleep be filled with calm wonder